Hello all, and welcome to my first edition of Fan Feature. Well, first fan feature in this style anyway. Even if I said in my fan feature update that I'd be selecting the 3 best Alphonse builds I got, I decided to feature every entry. I'll still be picking my 3 favorites in the end though. Now without further ado, let's get to the features. First up, an Alphonse courtesy of Christie. Now QR might not seem like the greatest synergy with other skills, but it means that he can function well both in and out of combat. He may need a buff to be able to take a hit outside of Brazen range, but aside from that, this Alphonse is pretty great in terms of versatility. Next we have an Alphonse courtesy of Fates. Instead of running triple Brazen, this Alphonse uses Swordbreaker in close defense to help keep him alive without buffs, before getting into Brazen range. Then once Brazen is active, he still maintains good enemy phase bulk while also having the Brazen buffs. What I like about this is giving him more bulk in the def department instead of using the attack res Brazen for the sake of mixed tanking. Nothing wrong with making a unit that focuses on defenses. This Alphonse was made by Finn, featuring a different style of Alphonse playstyle than others. Speed Smoke, triple Brazen, and Advantage allow him to make use of his massive attack without the need for taking hits every turn, although Soul, I honestly feel, might hurt his playstyle by getting him out of the Brazen range. Aside from that and getting to Brazen range to start, this build actually has a lot of creativity in it. This Alphonse was brought to us by iPengu, featuring Obstruct 1, hands down the best skill in the game. This is an interesting use of a QR seal, although without his refine he might not be doing much in the way of damage outside of say an initial encounter. Also, you killed Halloween Dorcas for this, so I'm mildly sad now. This Alphonse is brought to you by NoobTube, featuring a more defensive Alphonse. Close defense not only helps get him into Brazen range, but close defense allows him to tank with his res attribute too, which gives him an effective 39 res. This with attack smoke is amazing for allowing him to maintain and slaughter at once. This Alphonse is brought to you by Pumpkin, with an Alphonse with escape route. Although he lacks the main weapon refine, this Alphonse being able to jump around for kills while also giving dual spur buffs to anyone he jumps to is excellent, especially with mixed tank potential. This Alphonse was courtesy of Solid Snake Solid Arse, featuring a really interesting way around his doubling problem. Deflect melee advantage means he can tank well while also gaining cooldown for a bonfire proc. All around, this build is a creative solution to his biggest weakness while also taking advantage of his bulk. Next on the list is Alphonse by Turkey. This right here is a neat way to keep him in QR range while also giving him a nice little attack nuke. In all honesty, he probably wouldn't need a Brazen with Folkfanger for this. If he has a Slaying Edge, he could proc Soul after Soul and get a bit more oomph if he gets taken into Wrath range by an attack. Either way, this is a good way to keep him consistent and such, so nice work. This Alphonse was made by Australia, giving us a good old triple Brazen boost. This with Vantage and Savage Blow means he can kill either phase and chip away a bit with Savage Blow. This is pretty normal for Alphonse, albeit still very powerful. This Alphonse is made by Cosmic Anomaly, who has a strikingly similar Alphonse to that of Fates. The differences here, of course, are reposition instead of the dual rally, and QR instead of close defense. Although the rally doesn't mean much other than scoring, QR vastly changes how he works with his kit. He has a more offensive pre-Brazen kit, which sets up well into a guaranteed bonfire. Afterwards, he still keeps a large attack stat and boasts 50 defense, so he's got a strong offensive capability before and after Brazen. Next up is an Alphonse by Future Max, which again makes use of steady breath and such. Basically, this Alphonse means to nuke and nuke hard. With 46 offensive defense enemy phase, with the ability to Ignis, he's basically a Sword Lucas, nice and bulky. This Alphonse was made by La Rochelle, having the dedication for a refine and Wrath, but not enough for a blue skill apparently. All jokes aside, Wrath Ignis with a dual Brazen has good potential, but I don't really know the reason for keeping Death Blow, so I can't really judge whether you're keeping it or waiting for fodder. So I'm just gonna say, good work. This amazing Alphonse build was made by Yes, featuring one of the most broken builds in the game, Double Obstruct. Unfortunately, the build lacks shove, so I have to give this a 7.8 out of 10, not enough water. Last, but definitely not least, we have an Alphonse by Vil. This Alphonse comes equipped with a triple Brazen in a mixed set, giving him some mixed tankiness with Wrath Bonfires, which will deal a bonus 35 damage with a Mega Brazen combo, which is sure to kill a lot. For him to get into Brazen range, I'd suggest having someone else who can buff him so he doesn't take too much damage and can get into range without getting too low in HP. Alright, it's time to unveil the top placers. In third place, Solid Snake Solid Arse. Out of all the ways to deal with his low speed, this is the most creative one I've seen. Not only is he guaranteed to get into Brazen range safely, but his Deflect skill also continues to make his defense impenetrable. On top of this, Deflect Melee actually reduces true damage, which is stuff like Wu Dao's and such. I don't have time to explain it in full. To add to his tankiness ever further, Vantage also ensures its usage, so bonfires can charge like nobody's business. That is why this Alphonse gets third. In second place, Pumpkin. This Alphonse is not only bulky, but turned into something I haven't seen any other build do: be a support unit. Escape route means that only he can jump around and kill, but he can grant spur buffs to anyone he jumps to, which gives him versatility and strength. I'd say definitely give his sword a refine, because this build is legit really cool. That's why you get second for this build. Finally, in first place, NoobTube. To go further into detail, having him get doubled should put him into Wrath range, as well as Brazen, meaning after one round of combat, he's able to proc Growing Wind with Brazen and the bonus damage from Wrath. This with attack smoke and close defense means he tanks before and after Brazen, while quickly being able to decimate the enemy team with his AoE. This is one of the most creative uses of his Brazen abilities, on top of safely getting into the range without any need for outside buffs. Overall, this build I like so much, it got my top spot in this fan feature. Congratulations all, and thank you for participating in this fan feature. Now that our first edition is over, it's time for the results of my evaluations. As for categories, I'll go broader so more people can be included. On top of this, I've decided to keep the 2-week collection style, so I can mix up what I make and not have a fan feature telling me to do something every week or so. So yeah, thanks for bearing with me in this long delay for this video's release, and have a good day. But first, next time on Fan Feature.
Let's go. Drink a mistletoe. I'm being helpful.